Alright, guys, we're back. It's been a couple days because, like I said, I had some stuff to do, but we can go ahead and get back to the game now. So, I'm going to start off with. Uh, I'm going to talk a little bit about what my plans for the future are because, like I said, I have a few series planned for this, like a few games planned for this series. Um, So I guess I'm gonna move on to like the PS2, and after I beat the games I want to beat on there, I'm gonna switch to an emulator so I can play some ROM hacks. And yeah, okay, go ahead to Don Corneo's mansion. This is gonna be another longer segment today, so let's see. So I guess I'll talk now a little bit about like the kind of stuff that I wanted to do as a kid, like um, so when I was a kid, one of the things that I wanted to do was like design Halloween costumes and stuff because Halloween's one of my personal favorite holidays. Um, Back then, I used to wear costumes like the Scream mask, the pump version that had the blood stream down the face. Unfortunately, those pumps were not the best. They like tended to break and twist off fairly easily. Um, So yeah, it was kind of hard to maintain those. They also had a skull variation too, which if I remember might have actually been a bit better quality. But yeah, I love those. I love those pump masks that made it look all creepy. So and another thing I wanted to do actually was make games, but I did not realize how much time, how much money, and how much effort would go into a pursuit like that because games like this, even back then, required teams of like multiple people just to complete in 3 years. Like, so imagine what I would imagine what it would take for just one person to make an entire game like this from the ground up. Especially if you don't, if you're bad at math like I am, you can just forget about it because like you have to take into account physics. They use a lot of linear algebra equations. Um, I mean, it's obviously a skill you can get better at, but it'll take some time. And even then, just one person, even if they were doing it flawlessly, it would take forever to actually make a complete game with in depth mechanics. Even for this era, even PS1, it would take a long time. So, nowadays we have things like RPG Maker um, that have tools to make the process a bit easier. Um, but to actually like make custom graphics, do custom artwork, custom music, to actually customize it to any meaningful degree, you have to be able to code and program and do all sorts of stuff that would just be borderline impossible for one person to accomplish on their own. I got the hyper from behind the bed. So yeah, I'm gonna be recording a number of games in this series, and I might record some music stuff, and also I'm gonna get back to writing. I've got some stuff planned. It's just gonna take a while to get to it all. One game that I've been wanting to try out for a while is Near Automata. Funny thing about that, I used to pronounce it the Automata because there was a band. Um, there was a band with that name. I didn't know how to say the word automata at first, so I thought it was pronounced automata. Um, and I also found out that the terminology actually means something along the lines of the self operating machine, which is appropriate because in Nier they're androids. So, androids, cyborgs, whatever. I know there's a bit of debate about how those terms are used. Metal knuckle. Let's see. Yeah. We'll give the Titan Bangle to Emily because she needs a bit more defense. This version of the game, by the way, the PS4 version actually fixed a bug that was in the original. Um, the magic defense stat was bugged, so it didn't fully work properly. Your spirit was pretty much your magic defense. So I just like how in this version it makes like fighting a lot easier when you're trying to just get through the game like I'm doing. I may be able to actually beat the game before I have to give the PS4 back, but that remains to be seen. I'd have to put some like serious time into it. Anyway, as far as the ROM hacks I'll be playing, a lot of those will be like Pokemon stuff. And I've also got some old classic games like Kudelka, which is the prequel to Shadow Hearts. But I want to do Covenant first before I do anything like that. After I get my mom and sister a better PC, I'm gonna focus on getting a better laptop so I can like do my emulation on the go and stuff. Everybody's gaining levels. Emily gained 2 levels from that. Now I don't have to worry about random encounters, so that'll make things go along a lot quicker. And we definitely want the steel materia equipped because we can steal some pretty good stuff with that. So I guess since I'm naming the characters after characters from my book, I may as well go ahead and explain like the whole drive behind the story and like why it is what it is uh, and like why it's gonna be like public domain and things like that. See this is one of those stories that I feel like has a lot of valuable life lessons, and you know, like something that'll inspire hope in people because the world feels so hopeless right now. Oh, no, what the hell? I got stuck. Oh no! What kind of glitchy ass? What? I got. Oh, you have got to be kidding me right now. What are the odds? Okay. Well, we're stuck. I'm gonna call this segment good right now because that just made me rage. So, uh, wow, the whole thing just got thrown off because of a glitch. Go figure. Oh no. So I guess I'll just talk for a little bit before I let you guys go. So basically, the characters in my story are just a regular group of people who are who discover this innate ability that they have, and once things hit the fan, come the second act of the story, they're the only people left, along with like two other survivors, and they basically have to navigate a minefield of monsters at the end of the world. So, and the story takes place primarily between the late '90s and early 2000s. The end will be set during the late 2000s, around 2007, like I mentioned at the start of this series. But yeah, so that's gonna be what all that is. Uh, and I guess really, oh yeah, and one of the more fun things that I did with this was actually have like several protagonists in the story who are into metal, like the real heavy underground extreme stuff. Um, because metal doesn't get like those styles of metal really don't get a lot of mainstream attention, especially these days. Back in the '90s, bands like Morbid Angel were really big and everything, but death metal like that, the stuff that's still kind of rooted in thrash and everything, has lost a lot of popularity. So, um, most of the people who are still into that now have either um, they've either always been into it from their own teenage years, or they're people who grew up with it or discovered it and decided that they liked it and wanted to continue listening to it. So I fall into the latter category because I started out with bands like Korn, Linkin Park, Disturbed, all that stuff from back in the day, and then I got into the heavier stuff over time. And one of the things that really drew me in was like the Swedish melodic death metal sound. So that's what I've been listening to a lot lately. Stuff like Leukemia, um, Morning Caress. Um, what else? The band Deep. Um, I've been listening to their album, The Reach of Envy. Uh, there's Unanimated. I've been listening to their record, In the Forest of the Dreaming Dead. And the last one is it's always so hard for me to like to remember these things and like when I'm listing them off. So yeah. See. Wow, I'm having a hard time remembering what the last one is. Just give me a sec. Oh yeah, Rotting Christ. That was the last one. So those are the five bands that I've been listening to lately. Um, and I guess that's really all I have to say about that. I've listened to a lot of bands over the years, and those are the five that I've currently been listening to most. So I guess with that being said, I'll go ahead and end this segment because that whatever just happened to me right now, no, I can't even do that no more. Nope, that just killed the whole thing. I'm gonna have to give this system back soon anyway, so I'm gonna call it good on the PS4 version of this game at this point. So yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. That was